first of all, thanks for having me here today. It's a pleasure to talk a little bit of our lawsuit and also make some connections from Article 19, which is actual litigation in the FCTC, and at Article 5.3. I will just begin and dive into the idea is to give you a broad explanation about our lawsuit here in Brazil, and later on make some connections within other articles of the convention. So first of all, the idea is to show that we see here a clear link between Article 19 and actually Article 5.3. Actually, we think that litigation is also an important way to raise awareness and fight the tobacco industry. And the idea that we have here in Brazil to make this lawsuit came especially because we have a universal and free health care system. So the state has a lot of costs related to tobacco diseases, and actually it's the population that is has to be paying for all those treatments. So the idea that we have here is that the tobacco industry is taking all the profits from this operation, and the burden that is leaving behind is to the population itself. So this what moves us in to begin to work in this lawsuit. Nowadays, we can, through statistical analysis, we call it the epidemiological nexus, we establish a clear link between a series of diseases and the tobacco consumption. We are actually in our lawsuit using the Surgeon General studies from the US. That is actually it's a compilation of various studies that gives no doubt of the correlation between the causality correlation between smoking and the diseases that we are charging the industry. So the idea is like an approach from the health point of view, but also from economic point of view, to like square the field, to make that the companies that they want to devolve these produce cigarettes and sell them here in Brazil, they can do it, they are free to do it, but they cannot leave the burdens of the consumption of their product behind and only take the profits of it. So we in May 2019, we filed the lawsuit, and actually we are charging as defendants not only the 3 Brazilian companies that actually Souza Cruz, which is a British American tobacco fully owned company here since 1914, and Philip Morris actually came to Brazil in 1975 and has actually 2 companies here, one for production and another for sales. So we are charging these 3 Brazilian companies and also the headquarters. And this is a really strong point, and they are, even with now we are in the beginning of the lawsuit, and we are seeing that it's a really sensitive point for the companies. They really want to protect the headquarters, and this I will talk a little bit on, but it's a strategy that we are adopting here, since we have some other examples. For example, Canada, they are letting the national branches there die, and just to protect the headquarters. So we cannot leave them out of the lawsuit. So we selected 26 diseases, all in the Surgeon General's compilations. We could selected more diseases or less, but this was the ones that we feel there was a clear correlation between the epidemiological nexus, and it will be easy to, in our systems, our health systems here, transform these diseases into numbers of costs that we have through our health system. We have some other diseases that this will be really hard, like flu or cough, or really common diseases that we choose to leave it out. So we just use those that was a clear nexus between the consumption of tobacco, and also was easy, not easy, but a little bit more easy to establish and turn into another. We also in the litigation, and this is where we think that the litigation connects a little bit more with Article 5.3. We are using a lot of the examples of the industry conduct through history in the lawsuit to ask for them like a conviction in, we call it here moral damages. It's something like similar to punitive damages. And this is a really interesting thing, that because we make a really big study about this wrongdoings through history, both in the headquarters here in Brazil. Actually, there are more in the headquarters itself about denying the harms of the product, denying the addictiveness of nicotine, targeting youth, destroying evidence, and all the things that actually was also brought up in the cases in the US. We are bringing them also here, and even defending that for us, it doesn't matter if the act was a wrongdoing was made by the headquarters or the Brazilian branches, because even if the headquarters didn't inform the Brazilian branches, we also were kept as a society and as a government here in the dark about all these effects of the tobacco. They as long as, I don't know, the 50s, 60s, they already have these informations. So we make a strong description of all these wrongdoings, and this is what are making a lawsuit a big source of raising awareness in the whole tobacco case. Since we filed the lawsuit, we will be every week we have to respond some media questions. We are getting invited to universities to speak. We are in contact with other lawyers that are representing actually families of smokers who pass away. So this has been like a really effect. We already expected there will be some of those, but we didn't expect as much. And everybody's talking about it. We are making the media curious a little bit about how the industry portrayed themselves through history. And it has been really interesting here how the lawsuits are like a way of making everything that they do, make this an object of discussion that the industry now cannot refuse to enter, or even if they are not entered, doesn't matter to us, because we are being able to tell this story. So the lawsuit is going on already, and we already are perceiving that they are going to fight it with everything they have. They are especially concerned about the headquarters. They are denying to getting notified here in Brazil through the subsidiaries, saying that we have to formally notify the headquarters abroad because they are different companies, and we are saying that they are the same companies since they are fully owned by those branches. And in case of Souza Cruz, which is our biggest company here, more than 100 years ago, they owned the company. So we will have a long battle ahead. It also has been a long battle to make the lawsuit. It's been like 3 years of development in a group that I don't know how many people, but at least 30 people from even the Attorney General's office, or a lot of partners from civil society, NGOs, and we come up with a really robust claim that it's like 249 pages and have 450 documents in it. So it's a really robust work, and we are now seeing what their results are. And even though we don't know if we will have the conviction or not, we actually think that we already won a little bit, because we are raising so much discussion about the issue itself, that even now we already think that in some ways that we already won this. One of the objectives was fulfilled. And so now, just to make a quick link to actually the Article 5.3, I just wanted to say that just two of the guidelines, it's Article 5.3 are strictly the things that we are achieving here through the lawsuit. So this is just one more example of how the articles are linked and how we can raise awareness and implement Article 5.3 through Article 19. So thank you very much. That's it.